My name is Chelsea, and I'm a developmental psychologist, a mindfulness instructor, and I'll be leading us. I've been starting to lead these 30-minute sits through Zoom, and they'll now be on Tuesdays starting at noon for, we're not quite sure how long, but as long as we're virtual. So I invite you to have your video on or off. It's totally up to you. Some people like to feel like you're sitting in a room and looking at everyone next to you, and some people like to have the screen blank. Either is fine. I'd ask that you keep yourself mute, at least for the meditation part, and in the last 30 minutes of the hour, which is also optional, you're welcome to sign off if you just want to sit, but at 12:30 we'll be doing just a community dialogue to open the discussion up to anything that might be alive for you, anything that you're working with in a meditation or in just life. We just wanted to extend this as a wellness community support right now, because sometimes just sitting alone needs a little bit of support. So that's why we're here. And I'm also happy to answer any questions at that point too. So I wanted to start with a reading today. I mentioned that I'm a mindfulness teacher. I teach the mindfulness-based stress reduction program, which is an 8-week program out of the University of Massachusetts, and John Kabat-Zinn leads, and it's geared around stress reduction through mindfulness practice. And there's a reading from one of the books that goes along with the program that I felt was relevant to me in my life right now, how we use mindfulness when you work with stress. And obviously there's a lot of challenge and stress in our world right now. So before we go into a sit, I wanted to read this as an offering, and if it's helpful, take it with you into the sit. If it's not, just let it pass through. So this is a passage on mindfulness of the unpleasant. Stress reduction requires stress production sometimes. In a mindfulness class, it can feel counterintuitive to intentionally bring awareness to what's unpleasant. However, bringing mindfulness to the unpleasant is an empowering experience. By definition, stress reactions happen automatically and unconsciously around unpleasant situations. As soon as you bring awareness to what's going on in a stressful situation, you've already changed the situation dramatically, because you're no longer on autopilot. If we start tuning into stressful situations, we might see more clearly how our unbalanced view could be contributing to inappropriate overreactions on our part, which may be out of proportion to what the actual circumstances warrant, even during times of crisis. At the end of the day, we may find that a bad day is actually comprised of many different experiences, only some of which might truly fit under the category of bad. Note that mindfulness in stressful situations doesn't lead to a one-size-fits-all solution to avoid stress. At times, emotional arousal and physical tension may be totally appropriate. At other times, they may not be. In either case, how you handle stressors will depend on your degree of awareness in that moment. Responding skillfully to stress requires moment-to-moment awareness, taking each moment as it comes, showing up again and again and again. So let's show up in our lives in this moment together. Wherever we are, finding a posture with some dignity to it, some upright posture, if that's available to you, whether it's on a chair or cushion on the floor, or kneeling, or if your body is really struggling today, then lying on your back. But if you can, sit up and find that length in the spine. Just coming and dropping in to this moment, encountering whatever is here. The eyes can be opened or closed. And welcome to switch back and forth and noticing if the eyes are open, whether they're drawn to the screen or distractions, and really trying to bring the attention inward. So if the eyes are open, and finding perhaps a point of gaze, maybe it's a few feet in front of you on a window ledge or the floor. And if the eyes are closed, just noticing what it's like with the eyelids covering the eyes. And just start to notice how your breath is moving through the body. Perhaps finding one point of sensation, one region of sensation, whether it's the nose, the nostrils, the airflow coming in and out. Or maybe it's the throat or the lungs. The lungs filling and expelling air. And being aware that there may be a lot of other things happening in the background right now, whether it's thoughts or emotions or sensations in the body, and not trying to make those go away, but just allowing those to be and remain in the background as this breath takes center stage. Really training the attention and the awareness, moment by moment, fully present. And again, it's not that the breath is in and of itself is so important, but it's a reminder and an anchor of this moment, in and out, inhale and exhale, again and again and again. Each breath completely new. So we're training the mind in its ability to stay here, to stay present when we most need it. Perhaps noticing the tactile sensation of volume of this body expanding with air, and the temperature of the air and the texture of the air as your breath continues to cycle. Whatever those sensations are for you, it doesn't matter the specifics, just being with this alive, ever-changing, instantaneous moment. And again, you might notice all the background noise as you're following the breath. Not judging that, just noting it and gently bringing the attention back to the breath, to this moment. Perhaps noticing that whatever is arising for you here is incredibly important, and you're the only one that can be experiencing it. And you might notice as your attention continues to come back to the breath, how many times you're distracted. Perhaps seeing this as a learning experience of your attention, your present moment, and not in any kind of judgmental way, but in a curious, open way of learning about the mind and the heart, encountering your ability to grow and be present and find your own internal wisdom, even amidst distraction and challenge. That perhaps there is a sense of calm, safety in being present with the breath, even when there's the mind leading you somewhere else, or the body, or the emotions. Noticing how this invitation is always present, this invitation to drop into simply being here. And you might notice some pleasant sensations of relief, of letting go of all those storylines as they come, as if they're wind passing through, and not clinging to them or pushing them away, but just sensing a lightness and being anchored in this moment. Or you might notice that you're being pulled by something sticky or painful, or whether it's grief or stress or worry or anxiousness, discomfort, impatience, whatever challenges might be here, and any intensity and in the grasping that won't let you be on the breath. Perhaps allowing yourself to be with those intense sensations, to not try to push them away, but just get a little bit closer gently, as if you're just sticking a toe in the water and seeing if you can breathe into any discomfort. Noticing how the act of being present with it may change it. Perhaps noticing the unbounded capacity of your awareness to be with anything that arises. How much bigger that awareness is than any of the problems that arise. A sense of groundedness, even in these turbulent times. In these uncertain times of not knowing the future and news feeds and responsibilities and job security and all of these external pressures that are very real. This constant invitation that the present moment offers of dropping in and being here with all of it. Allowing oneself to be open and tap into that inner wisdom and strength that only comes from each and every person being fully present. So spending a few moments here just continuing to follow the breath with the attention. Noticing whatever is coming in and out of the background and not trying to change whatever arises, just continuing to be here compassionately with yourself rather than numbing or tuning out. Continuing to come back again and again to now. And just noticing this radical act of stopping, how radically loving it is right now in our world, where everyone's stopping their work, stopping their social interactions, stopping their travel so that we can do our best to take care of each other and ourselves. And on this inner level, this radical act of stopping in the middle of our day and taking care of ourselves by just being here. And in a very real way, sensing the other individuals that are sitting here on this call in different places in the world, and that connection that is being shared in presence. I feel it, and there's gratitude for your presence. And perhaps inviting an opening sense of awareness of everyone in this shared humanity right now, of all of us in our own ways connected across this planet, with all of our individual challenges and successes, and how we're all really in this together, even though we can't be together, this sense of not being alone. And I want to close this meditation with a reading, a poem by Mary Oliver. And I invite you to just soak it in and allow it to help you transition out of this practice and take whatever is needed from this half an hour together as you go on through the rest of your day. So this is called Wild Geese. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about your despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese high in the clear blue air, we're heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over, announcing your place in the family of things. So just being gentle with yourself as you come out of this sitting meditation, and I'll just say a few brief words in this transition about the class that we'll be offering. There's a 4-week class coming up. And just bringing up the information. So this training will be called the Mindfulness Training in a Time of COVID-19, Tending to Our Hearts and Minds When We Most Need Them. So this is a 4-week class that will be live on Zoom, live and interactive. So it's as close to an in-person group class as we can get right now. It'll be Mondays 7 to 9 p.m. starting next Monday. And it won't be recorded, it'll just be a live interactive group. And registration is through the same website, I believe, where you registered here. It's free of cost, and it's really a place for us to strengthen our hearts and minds together through these kinds of mindfulness training based on the MBSR program that I teach, which is an 8-week class that's condensed into 4 weeks of the most relevant content in relation to what our world is facing right now. So that offering is up for registration, I think, through the end of this week, because we're starting next Monday. So please reach out if you have questions, and we'd love to see any or all of you there. And at this point, I guess I'd like to invite anyone who doesn't want to be part of the group dialogue to log off, and thank you so much for joining and sharing your time with us. We're really grateful for your presence. And we'll stop the video here, and